Now, in some of our announcements, you may have seen the slide about a young gentleman by the name of Ahmaud Arbery. And so during our time of prayer, we also want to be gathering corporately around what's happening in our world. Now, Ahmaud Arbery, he was shot down, gunned down by two men in Georgia while on a run, while on a jog. And we want to make sure that Ahmaud does not just stay a hashtag, but as a church, as people who believe in the gospel, we want to make sure that we are putting our hands to work and putting the gospel into manifestation and changing all of the evil and the heartache that we are seeing in our world. And so, a few Black pastors from around the Vineyard denomination came together, and we have a letter that we've put together that I'd like to read for you as a representation of the ways that we are lamenting, and would like you to come and lament with us so that we can extend our sorrow, our pain towards the Lord, and see what bravery, what courage, what determination that God can give us so that we can make a change. And so I'm going to read the letter. Please, as you listen to this letter, see what the Lord is doing in your heart, how you might intercede for this subject, and how you could be a part of the transformation that's necessary in our nation. And so the letter begins. Ahmaud Arbery, born in 1994 and shot and killed in 2020 while on a jog. As Black Vineyard USA pastors, we invite you to join us in pausing to acknowledge wrongdoing, pain, and suffering in light of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. We do this in humility, knowing many have gone before us, stand with us, and will join us in the pursuit of justice. How we respond as individuals, as a nation, and as a church determines not only how we can help, but how we can heal. Read, reflect, and respond in a way that will help you engage in what following Jesus might look like for you in this moment. Laments are prayers of petition, rising out of need. But lament is not simply the presentation of a list of complaints, nor merely the expression of sadness or difficult circumstances. Lament in the Bible is a liturgical response to the reality of suffering and engages God in the context of pain and also trouble. The hope of lament is that God would respond to human suffering that is wholeheartedly communicated through lament. A prophetic lament from Seong Chan Ra. How long, Lord, must we call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you, violence, but you do not save? Why do you make us look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before us. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore, the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous so that justice is perverted. Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. We're angry. We're tired. We're tired of being angry. There's nothing different about this time except that we are in a pandemic that disproportionately affects Black and brown bodies due to unequal access to health care, food, and other life essentials. A pandemic that has us saying goodbye to our parents, grandparents, and relatives at an alarming rate. A pandemic that compels us to wear masks when we know what the consequences could be, dangers that run deeper than the risk of infection. Besides that, what is different? A Black man's life taken by a family affair. a father and a son, a Black man's life taken by a family affair, a nation stuck in cycles of racialized violence and death. This isn't new. This is history. Lynchings were public gatherings, spectacles where human bodies still alive were stripped, tortured, dismembered, sometimes burned, and left to die. Community is not supposed to look like this. Our churches, to our public gatherings, a place where the body, however broken, can seek healing from the one who pierced his hands. And yet, as pastors, we can simply feel responsible for informing the church about these tragedies, even as we hurt inside, barely having time to process ourselves. The church is more than a place to announce Black death. It is a body meant to uplift Black life. This uplift involves looking sin and evil in the face and standing against it. As Janine Hill Fletcher says, if Christians desire a world of racial justice and religious integrity, understanding the sin of white supremacy and Christian theology's role within it is our only way forward. God does not look away from the pain and affliction of his people, and neither do we. We could have written many different individual responses from places of tiredness, anger, frustration, and numbness. But we decided to stand together. We decided to sit together, to grieve together while apart. This is what solidarity looks like. This is what self-care looks like. This is what vulnerability looks like. This is how our Christ meets us. This is the good news. He stands with us. He sits with us. He hears our pain, feels our anger, stirs us up from our numbness, delivers us from evil, and gives us a living hope. Not hope that erases the suffering of his cross, nor hope that erases the suffering of the crosses that we've been forced to bear. Rather, hope for a new normal that finally will look different through the power of the resurrection and renewal. A new normal of justice, of dignity, of love. A new normal where Black lives are valued long before their hashtags. A new normal, a solidarity beyond just the Black pastors of the Vineyard. We invite you. We invite you to stand, to sit, and to grieve with us. Christ, run to us. Redeem our history. Bring healing to our family. Yours, a group of Vineyard USA Black pastors. So I also ask that you join with me in our corporate benediction. This is a time where we've been able to gather for worship, to start in lament, but to continue in showing God's glory. And so read the benediction with me. God, give us wisdom, understanding, and faith through your word. God, give us love, joy, and peace through your spirit. God, give us abundant life. Now, let us go out this day to give from what we've been given.